What is human life worth when a roll of duct tape is priceless? It's a question that gets to the heart of what it means to survive. But it's also a question about value itself. If you want to understand what a society truly prioritizes, you don't look at its laws or its leaders. You look at its economy. I started thinking about this after a moment in Fallout that felt strangely profound. I was picking through the ruins of an old building, pockets already heavy, when I spotted a single roll of duct tape on the desk. Without thinking, I dropped everything else to make room for it. It kinda made me pause, not in game, but in real life, because I realized that in this world, adhesive is more precious than gold. And that's when I wondered, what does a shift like that say about the society left behind? The world before the bombs fell was built on the economy of abstraction. Credit, consumerism, consumption, it was a culture of disposability that, ironically, consumed the planet and led to the very apocalypse that it was trying to sell its way out of. When you step out into this new world, you're not just a survivor, you're a student in a brutal new school of economics. Here, worth is measured in what you can hold and what you can use, and what can keep you alive for more than one day. This is a story of how a civilization rebuilds itself, told through its three stages, interconnected pillars: the ghost of money, the religion of repair, and the brutal logic of self-preservation. To understand the most iconic currency of the wasteland, we first need a little economics lesson. There are two basic kinds of money. Commodity money is something that's useful on its own, an object itself that has intrinsic value. Think of something like salt or gold. Then there's fiat money. This has no real value on its own. A dollar bill is just paper. It's valuable only because the government says it is, and more importantly, because we all agree that it is. Its value is based on pure collective faith. The humble bottle cap has a fascinating story because it's been both. On the West Coast, where the story began, caps started as a representative money. The powerful water merchants of the city called the Hub backed every single cap with a promise of clean water. In the world of Fallout, this was the most vital commodity imaginable. The cap was chosen because of the technology to make new ones was lost, making them rare and hard to counterfeit. Each cap in essence was the promise of life. Here in the Commonwealth, the story is a historical accident. A pre-war Nuka-Cola promotion programmed vendor robots to accept caps as payment. The world ended, but robot programming didn't. This means that in Fallout 4, the cap is pure fiat currency. It has no backing. Its value only exists because the major trade hubs decided to honor it. Essentially, it's a cultural fossil, a fragile piece of social trust in an untrusting time. The true genius of the Commonwealth's economy, however, isn't in what people buy, it's in what they don't throw away. Because in a wasteland, there's no such thing as junk. Everything is a container for something else. A desk fan isn't trash, it's a treasure chest of screws and steel. This represents a complete inversion of the pre-war world's values. The society that fell was a consumer culture, obsessed with finished products. However, the post-war society is a producer culture. It's a worldview, a religion of repair built on the gospel of junk. And a clear hierarchy emerged. At the absolute top tier, god-tier materials like ballistic fiber, stripped of course from rare military gear. Just below the essentials, adhesive, screws, and aluminum. These are materials that are essential for production. You can even become a farmer, not for food, but to mass-produce corn, potatoes, and nut fruit needed to cook up vegetable starch. A powerful adhesive, The pinnacle of the wasteland's agriculture is making glue. So we have the abstract trust of caps and the tangible utility of junk. But what happens when you need to trade with a stranger that you don't trust? You need something of immediate, undeniable, universal trade value. You need a bullet. In closed systems, a single useful item often becomes a secondary currency. It's called commodity money. In the Commonwealth, the humble .38 caliber round provides this exact function. Its value is brutally simple. It can save your life, an essential tool for the wasteland. But it's also incredibly common, weightless in the standard game, and has a universal understood value of roughly 1 cap. It's essentially the ultimate liquid asset. A farmer might not always take your aluminum cans, but they'll always take your bullets. They're essentially the universal language that connects the formal economies of the cities with the desperate barter of the wastes. These 3 pillars aren't separate, they feed into each other, creating a cycle, a value chain that shows how a single survivor can become a nation builder. You start by using bullets to secure your safety while scavenging for junk. That junk is broken down into components. Those components are used to craft mods, dramatically increasing an item's value. That finished good is then sold to a merchant for caps. And those caps are used to buy rare components, starting the whole cycle all over again on a higher level. This is where things really start to get interesting. You can scale up this entire process. Using the local leader perk, you can create supply lines, linking your scattered settlements into one cohesive economic network. You can turn one settlement into an industrial water farm, another into an agricultural hub for adhesive. You stop becoming a survivor, you become a master of logistics, an economic planner. The ultimate expression of power in the Commonwealth isn't martial, it's a logistical. Civilization is not rebuilt with a flag, but with a supply chain. The economy of the Commonwealth is more than just a set of game mechanics. It's a deeply complex simulation of how human value systems are radically reconfigured by a catastrophe. The pre-war world was destroyed by its insatiable need to consume. The new world can only be built by those who have learned out of necessity how to create. The economy of ruin reveals a fundamental truth in a world of scarcity. The ability to make is infinitely more valuable than the ability to buy. A desk fan is worth more than $1, a bullet is worth more than a promise, and a roll of duct tape, well, that might just be worth everything. Thanks for watching. What's the one piece of junk you can never leave behind? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the worlds we love to explore. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.